So we're going to talk a lot of NFL draft because it is draft week, not particularly because the NFL draft is somehow any different than it might be, which is everybody's going to take gambles. Everybody's going to try to place their bet on who they think is best going to fit their football team. But for OU, you need defensive tackle Neville Gallimore to break this drought, man. Now, Gallimore's coming off his best season last year. 18 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, all Big 12 first team selection. I mean, he's being touted up there with Raekwon Davis and Ross Blacklock coming out of Texas Christian, 6'2", put on a little bit of weight, 304 pounds, was playing around 295 last year, but threw down the second fastest 40-yard dash time by a defensive tackle ever, 4.79 seconds. Now, hey, how many times is a defensive tackle going to run 40 yards in one direction? Not very much, but it does speak to his tremendous get off. And then you watch his hands, they're super quick. It's also interesting in that Gallimore's still a work in progress. I mean, he really didn't start playing football until late. He played it in Canada where it's not exactly iron sharpening iron up there. And he had to come down to the United States to actually see some good competition and then spend 5 years at Oklahoma trying to develop that. Then, what goes on with CeeDee Lamb? Now, I feel like Mayberry is salivating over this because it's no secret Mike Mayock loves him some CeeDee Lamb. But one of the things that I found interesting about what Mayock told Peter King at NBC about him was, look, he may not have the speed of a Judy or Henry Ruggs, but he's a better fit in an offense given how he wins. Meaning, he will win at the line of scrimmage. He loves blocking people. Matter of fact, that was my favorite CeeDee Lamb story at Big 12 Media Days last year. So we're sitting at this table where we sit with the kids for like an hour, hour and a half. Usually you bounce around, or maybe you stake out one of the kids because you have other folks that you're working with and you just leave your tape recorder running. And they field all sorts of questions. And one of the questions that he fielded was, do you like blocking? And he did not hesitate. I love blocking. And then you watch the film. He really is putting defensive backs on their backsides. He really is trying to impose his will out there. But that also works for him when he's out in routes because his physical nature shows itself once again. And after he catches the ball, we all know what kind of a dude he is after the fact. And that's been Mel Kiper's deal about him the whole time. Hey, I call him CD Yak, yards after the catch. Now, if he falls to the Raiders and the Raiders decide to take him, cool, great. But I think that Lamb is going to make it work wherever he goes because of what he said, which is that his game just translates. Specifically because he is a big, strong, imposing wideout. Now, whether or not you could see 3 dudes go in the first round for OU is, I think, pie in the sky. I think that Kenneth Murray Jr. is going to get boxed out by somebody, whether it be Kevlon Chasen or Patrick Queen, who plays his position. I think that Ross Blacklock has as much an opportunity to go in the first round as Neville Gallimore, which is to say it's going to be difficult, right? But here's the thing about Gallimore. I think his floor is much higher because I can't see him slipping past the 3rd round. And if I can get a great defensive tackle in the 3rd round, I'm going to do it. But I can't see anybody passing on him if he gets that far deep into the draft because his upside is just that, tremendous, right? And that's what OU players have going for them right now, not named CeeDee Lamb. Kenneth Murray Jr. has athleticism that is prodigious. You cannot teach someone to be as big and as fast as he is. You can teach them football, though, right? Gallimore, you can sharpen him up. You can turn him into some version of Aaron Donald because his hands are already that fast and because his feet are already that quick. Teach him a little bit of technique. But how many coaches want to coach it, right? The knock I give to most coaches is, if I got to coach you a lot, you probably ain't that good. I'm like, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Yeah, but I can't teach them to be fast. I can't teach them to be instinctual. Well, then what good are you? So I'm be interested to see who decides to take those shots and win, because that's also going to speak to how coachable they think the kids are. By the way, if you did not know, every single top prospect you could think of has talked with a team. They're all talking to him. If they haven't talked to him by this point, They ain't going to draft him to begin with.